The selling secret that's going to get more people to buy from you is what I'm going to share with you in this video. So let's dive into this and see what it is. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri, Elkaim, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals get clients and scale their virtual practices / coaching businesses online. And I spend a lot of time with my clients on sales skills, which is essentially communication, more or less, right? I want to share with you what I believe to be the number one selling secrets that's going to get more people to buy from you. And this is specifically in context of you having a conversation with someone, not e-commerce products. And it's really simple. There's two ways of looking at this. So way number one, which is actually the best way, is to create an offer that is so compelling that people would be crazy to say no to it. And my friend Dean Jackson often says it's a lot easier to create a compelling offer than a convincing argument. So if you've got a great offer, which is the thing you're selling in a way that is like, wow, that's just a really good deal, backed up by a good guarantee, it's like you don't have to become the world's best salesperson. You don't have to become the world's best salesperson anyways, but we should all strive to become better. So your offer is very, very important. I'll have a video in a couple of weeks on how to create that. But assuming that that's not quite there, you have to be able to sell anything. You have to sell your ideas. You have to sell yourself. You've got to sell your philosophy. You have to sell your program, your service, your products, whatever it is. We're always selling. I've got to sell my kids and why they should brush their teeth at night. Why do I have to brush my teeth? Well, because your mouth is going to smell like a garbage can if you don't, right? And here's the thing that I've recognized about my kids. Each one's motivated a little bit differently. So as an example, and this is going to tie back into selling because this is the same thing. So my son, Luca, is very socially driven. He's a very social person. And so when I talk with him about reasons why, it's usually related to what other people are going to think of him or how he shows up in the tribe. So as an example, I don't even know why, had this issue with taking a shower. Like he doesn't want to shower. And one day he came home and I smell like, I'm like, what does that smell? It smells like homeless person. And I got close to him and I almost threw up in my mouth. It was disgusting. Then my wife walked by and she almost fainted. And then our other son, Oscar, came by and he was like, what the hell is that smell? And I was like, Luca, you need to shower because you smell like a homeless person living on the streets, covered in their own urine, buried in alcohol, and massive BO. How do you think your friends are going to like that when you show up at school tomorrow? So for him, his social network is a very big motivator. So I use that to influence him. My son, Oscar, who's our oldest, not so much. He's very much like I am. He's very driven by his own growth, his own health, that kind of stuff. So that conversation with him, let's say I'm talking about brushing his teeth, not that he's very easy nowadays. Like, thankfully, there's not as much resistance with him. But, if he were to ask, like, well, why do I need to brush my teeth in the morning and night? I might say, well, listen, like your dental hygiene is very, very important. Wouldn't you agree? Right? Don't you want to have nice looking teeth that are white, or would you like to have yellow teeth that smell? Not as cool. Plus, did you know that a lot of problems health-wise can start in the mouth, right? So if you don't clean your mouth, then that's not necessarily the greatest starting point for a healthy foundation. And you want to be healthy, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's how I'm kind of explaining that. So how this goes back to you is I'm going to share actually, now that I said that, 2 selling secrets. You're in for a bonus today. So the offer aside, which is very important, but let's say that now we're talking about the skill of selling. So what I just talked about there is the ability to turn the same offer into something that is highly personalized to the prospect. So how this shows up in a conversation like a discovery call or an enrollment call is great salespeople, great people who are great at communicating, we'll put it that way, understand that the first part of the call is all about the prospect. And the worst people at sales just talk the whole time. It's really that simple. I mean, we hire salespeople left, right, and center, and we've let people go. We've let salespeople on our team go because I'm like, dude, it's been 5 minutes and all you've spoken about is yourself so far. Like, if I'm the prospect and all you're doing is speaking as the sales rep for the first 5 minutes, I'm like, we're out of here. So great salespeople ask a lot of questions, and that's called discovery. So like in our worlds, in our coach to close process, we call this the diagnosis. We're diagnosing the situation. How can you make a prescription, which is the next phase, without a diagnosis? If you're a doctor, person walks into your office, you're like, here's your prescription. And the patient's like, I haven't even told you what the problem is. Oh, I thought everyone just needed this. That's how a lot of people sell. So it's not good. By contrast, great people will ask questions and just let the prospect speak forever. I was actually on a sales call yesterday, and I'm in the process, but I'm also observing the process from like a higher perspective. And I'm like, this chick's job is so simple. I'm just speaking the whole time, right? Like she just asked a question and I spoke. She jotted some notes down and then did a recap. It's almost as if we trained her, but I don't think we did. But she was really good. And people love talking about themselves, right? So no one cares about you. Don't talk about you. Let them talk about themselves. So step one is a great selling secret, or a secret to being great at sales, is ask a question and shut your mouth and let them speak. Tell me more about that. Is there anything else? Why is that important to you? Oh, that's amazing. Who else benefits from you doing this? Like, let them just talk. Just let them talk and then just check in. Don't do the whole yep, totally agree. Mute your line. Don't say a single word. And that is very tough to do because we all want to have the back and forth. Don't say a thing. Okay? Because now that you have the discovery, so when you have this initial discovery, these questions that have been answered, now you have the motivators for this person. And just like with my kids, knowing what motivates them, I use that later in the conversation. So when I'm talking about the solution, or when you're talking about your solution, no one cares about your thing. You have to relate it back to them. As in the case of my kids, they don't care about brushing their teeth, but they care about brushing their teeth in the context in which it matters to them. So if someone comes to you and they say, well, I want to lose weight, and you ask them, well, why is that important to you? Well, because I understand that if I don't lose weight now, I'm not going to be around for my kids. Tell me more about that. And they go on and on and on. You're just making notes about why this is important to them. Later in the conversation, you might ask, well, like, what else have you tried in the past? Oh, I did Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers, and cool. All right. So how did that work out? Well, not so well. And I'm like, well, why didn't it work out? Well, because this and this and this. And you might ask, well, did they have what did the accountability look like? What did the support look like? How often did they check in with you? Oh, like never. So you make notes of all this stuff. So when you're in the prescription phase of your call, where you're starting to talk about your solution, your program, you can now match the features or deliverables of your thing to their desires, to what's important to them. So this is why every conversation is not the same, even though the program is the same. If you have a core program, is because you're always relating the features or deliverables you have to what that prospect has told you earlier on in the call. So if someone said, I want to lose weight because of my kids, you have to keep that in mind for later. If someone says, I want to lose weight because I want to fit into my skinny jeans so I can look sexier at the club, that's a different conversation later in the call. So in the context of the call later on, when you're talking about your program, you're saying, yeah, well, okay, well, here's, the program's this, here's how it works. The goal is to get you here and here. How we do this is we do this and we do this and we do this. And, the reason we do this is because earlier you mentioned that, one of the challenges you were dealing with in these other solutions you had tried was like, you never had any support. Well, would it help if I had a call with you every single day? Or I showed up at your house and made your food, or I showed up at your house and did your sit-ups for you? Oh, that'd be amazing. So you're relating the features or deliverables back to the thing that is important to them. You said your kids are important to you. And listen, you don't want to be spending all day doing this stuff, right? Which is why this plan is very, very simple, straightforward. It's minimal time investment that has maximum impact. So you can spend more time with your kids while improving your health, losing the weight. So not just are you spending time with them now, but you're with them longer in the long run. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, totally. So you're relating your thing to them, okay? You relate your how to their why, okay? That's selling secret number one. So that's your bonus right there. But the real secret that I wanted to share with you is the way to get more people to buy from you is conviction. That's it, right? You could have no scripts, no previous clients, no social proof, no testimonials, but like you are so friggin' pumped that you know you can help this person and you know they need your help. Like they've said like, yes, I want to do this. And you're like, I know I can help you. We're never saying, and I talk a lot about sales, and I never want you to misunderstand this. I'm never, ever, ever, ever recommending you push something on someone that doesn't need it or that you can't help, because it's not about selling someone. It's about identifying the problem and recognizing if you can help them. If you can't, it's not ethical to even offer anything. Okay. So you should be able to turn people away. But if you know that's the right fit client, now it's like gloves are on, let's do this. Not obviously in a combative way, but from a place of I care about you. I really, really genuinely want to help you. And I'll tell, like when I do role plays with my clients, some of them I'm like falling asleep. I'm like, are you for real? Is this how you are showing up for the people you're speaking with? Because if it is, I can give you all the scripts you want. It's not going to work because you have no fire. You have no passion. You have no enthusiasm. And trust me, if you don't, that client's not going to. You have to believe in your thing so much that it's almost delusional. I call this delusional optimism. You have to be grounded in reality, but you also have to be like, this is the best thing. I have a firm belief in my mind. And I've always had this belief. I don't know where it comes from. When I was a goalie in soccer, I believed from a very young age that I was the best goalie. I remember where it started. I remember I was like 10, and I think it was my first introduction to rep soccer. And I was a new goalie on the team. So there's a goalie already there. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, I'm better than this guy. I am better than this guy. Yeah. And I got pissed that I wasn't starting. I'm like, there's no way on earth this guy is starting over me. And that's where it started. And then through my teenage years, obviously it's reinforced by performance, right? And I'm like, I'm the best goalie in the city, not just on my team. And then I was like, I'm the best goalie in the province. I'm the best goalie in Canada. I watched these guys in the professional leagues. I'm like, I'm better than these guys. And that was confirmed to me. Not that it was confirmed to me, because these guys are playing at the highest possible level. And I'm not at the time. That's a little bit delusional to think that I am better, although I had the belief. And I remember in my late teens, early 20s, I was invited to England 2 years in a row for a pro week, which was a preseason training camp for all the goalkeepers in the English Premier League. And I was able to partake in that. It was amazing. I'm like literally like a month before, I'm watching these guys on a Saturday morning from my house on TV. The next month, I'm training with them and having lunch with them. It was amazing. And I'll tell you this, like when I trained with them, I started to recognize there was a gap, but not as much of a gap as maybe I thought. I'm like, you know what? Hey, listen, we're plastering balls at each other. I can fly top corner just like they can. Obviously, I'm not discrediting them, but I'm saying is that I always knew I was amazing. And even with Healthpreneur and what we do, I'm like, I have so much conviction in what we do that with the right people, it's crazy to see what can happen with their business. And I don't care about the competition. Like for me, there's no competition, because what's funny is that our competition feeds us a lot of our clients, because a lot of our clients come from other people in our space and they're like, yeah, I did so-and-so's program. I'm like, yep, welcome to the club. Come on in. So is everyone else, because they didn't get what they needed elsewhere. Not to say that anything else is bad. I'm just saying it wasn't the complete solution that they were looking for or that they needed, although it's a good stepping stone. And I think you have to have that level of conviction. You have to be so confident in what you're doing and what you're delivering that just energetically, the person is like, okay, I guess, yeah, this makes sense, because you are the expert. The prospect is not, because if they were the expert, they wouldn't be speaking with you. They would have known how to do that already. So you taking a position of a leader on the call to say, so here's what I think we should do. This, and this. People need leadership, right? They need to be led. They need to be told what to do, especially when they don't know what to do. As an example, one of our clients was asking, do I ask for a deposit on the call if someone's like, I need to think about it? And I said, you could, right? And, we kind of role played that a little bit. And she was like, well, would you be okay if we put down a little bit of a deposit? And then, I was like, you're never going to get a yes with that. Okay. Here's the way you do this is if you want to have a deposit, it's just a requirement. So instead of saying, would it be okay if we put down a little, and it's very wishy-washy, you say this. Great. So totally understand you want to think about this and you've gone down this pathway of dealing with that and it's not going to be resolved today, for instance. Totally understand you want to think about this. So here's what we'll do next is we'll just get a small deposit to reserve your spot and then we'll touch base tomorrow at 3:00. Sound good? Oh, I don't know if I want to leave a deposit. Really? Why is that? I don't feel comfortable. Can I just be honest with you for a second? Do you understand why I asked for a deposit? I don't know. Well, why do you think? Well, because if I left it, I'd probably be more committed to showing up. Exactly. Listen, let me be very clear about something. I don't need your business. I would love to help you, but I don't need your business. And I understand that I have something that you need. And if you want to get this result, this is how it's going to happen. When you take that tone, you're not being an asshole. You're setting the stage for how the relationship is going to go. People treat you the way you train them to treat you. So if you say, well, is it okay if I maybe ask for a deposit? You don't have to. No, I don't want to leave a deposit. But if you say, here's what's going to happen, most people will be like, okay. Because whoever is most convicted is going to win. And not when I say win, that's not the right word, because when you win, they win. When they win, you lose, and so do they. When I say they win, when I say someone says, I need to think about it and they leave the call, they don't win, they lose. And so do you. When you let them go, you let them down. You have a duty and a responsibility to get this person enrolled if you know that you can help them and if they have said this is what they want to do. And I don't care what the objections are. I need to talk to my spouse, think about it, pray on it, meditate on it, whatever. You don't have to close the sale right there. But you have to come from a place of conviction because energy is transferable. And if their energy is overpowering yours, they will win. And again, when they win, they lose. If your energy overpowers them and it just kind of takes them up to another level, you win, but the client wins, right? So it's a win-win, right? They're coming to you for a solution. If it's expensive, who cares? It's the way it is. I just did something yesterday that was significantly more money than I wanted to spend, but I know in the long run, it's going to be the cheapest investment I've ever made. No doubt. I don't need to think about that stuff. It's it makes sense. We do this. So conviction is the number one thing you have to get more people to buy from you. Okay. Number two, as I talked about as a bonus, is being able to relate your how to their why. Don't talk about your program just generically. Talk about the things you do as it relates to the things that they want and what's important to them. Okay. If you do that, I promise you more people will say yes. And obviously the third piece, which we haven't touched on, which I'll touch on in a future video, is your offer, which is very, very important as well. So if you've enjoyed this, let me know what your big takeaway is in the comments below. And remember to hit that subscribe button, wherever it is here on this video. Hit the damn subscribe button. If you're not subscribed to this channel, you are absolutely bonkers. I've got tons of stuff. If you just consumed all the videos on my channel and implemented this stuff, your health business would be, to another level. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos I have coming your way. I'm cranking this stuff out nonstop because I want to support you. I want to serve you. Whether you work with us or not, ever, I don't care. I just want to be able to help as many people as possible. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.